Hey, ADNC family, Emma Ansah here, and we are live. And I'm here with two special guests today. I have Leis Seaton, who is coming to us from Canada in Ontario, which is where I am. And then we have LeMon Bradford, who is joining us from Euclid, Ohio. So thank you guys for joining me today.
Welcome,
For
welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you that don't know, they're actually really good friends of mine. And I reached out to them when I saw this video with Claudia Jordan talking about being single over 40 and saying, the things that she wished that she would have done differently and, lessons that she felt like she could have learned. And I thought, well, this is a really good conversation to have because one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people that are commenting on this are men. Excuse me, my dogs are over here barking. Let me just deal with them. Sorry. You gotta love live. So yes, so anyhow, so I said, you know what? We need to have balance. So let's have a female that's black, that's single, that's over 40, and then we have a black man from America that's single over 50. And let's have this conversation because I really do think it's important. And I want to have people that I know and people that definitely have stories to tell and can really weigh in on this from a life experience perspective, not just listening to a celebrity, right? So, thank you guys for joining me. How are you doing? Are you guys ready for this conversation?
All is well. Let's go.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, before we get started, let's just watch the clip that I took, and then we'll dive into it further.
Wish someone had told you about dating like in your 40s and 50s back then.
You think that when you're ready to settle down, that there's always going to be a lot of supply on the shelves, and it's not. Like at this age, a lot of the good guys are married or taken because they're good guys. And I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine the other day, and I'm like, well, your best bet now is maybe someone that a good man that maybe is coming out of a marriage, getting a divorce. So, I think in our youth, and I would like people to know this when they're younger, we think, oh, there's always going to be an endless supply. I can wait till tomorrow. Don't put off your happiness waiting. If you find that good person, like a lot of times we wait, well, it's not the right time. It's never going to be like the right time. I would say go for it more. I wish I would have told someone told me just go for it. I probably have overlooked a good candidate before, like maybe
Why is that though?
me thinking the timing thing, maybe prioritizing career. I definitely was always like work, 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 work. I never thought I had like the enough cushion built up to like relax and take my foot off the gas and start a family.
And then did that just go on and on and
Yeah.
on, and then you be 100 years old and you like it's
Damn
still
it.
working.
Still working. And I think I will say specifically with black women especially, I feel like we don't really have the luxury to think that we can kind of take time off like that. And I specifically say black women because like we're usually the backbone of everything. Not even just with our families, but with our friend circles. Like it's always something for us to do. We're always taking care of somebody else. I don't have children, but I'm always like feeding a friend or taking care of someone or helping somebody out or doing a favor. And I think that's a cape that we put on ourselves. No one told us to do this. It's just something in us that we do. And if you think about the black woman in your life, you probably think, "Damn, she's like a superwoman for everybody else. When does she slow down for herself?" I think with black women specifically, it's harder for us to ever feel like we can just kind of take a break. We have to be like all gas, no brakes. I don't think we have the luxury of feeling like, okay, I can take a breather now and relax. And I think it's really sad. There's all these statistics about 45%, 65% of black women will never get married, and we're out here taking care of everybody else and not getting taken care of. And I think it's really sad. I think we self-impose this cape on ourselves to save the world. Look at all the marches. Look at all, I know this is dating, but I got to bring it into like the political space. We're always at the front lines for everybody else. For everybody. Brother gets killed, we're in the front lines. The LGBTQ community, we're in the front lines. Other women that are not even showing that up as our allies, we're in the front lines. Gaza, front line. We're always there for everybody else. And on top of all the stuff in our personal lives, we out here trying to save the world. When does that leave time to like really feel comfortable? When does that really leave time to like relax and or even just like put yourself first or dating? And I just feel like a lot of women get caught up in saving the world and then they leave little time for themselves.
So when I saw that, I was like, wow. Um, and I know for a fact that this is a reality for a lot of single Black women. And when I was looking at the statistics in America, they say that the amount of single Black women in America is somewhere in around 10 to 15 million. And I was like, wow. And then I looked at Canada, and Canada was around, they said 50 to 107,000 women, Black women. So I'm going to start with you, LeMon. What did you think about what she said, especially when she said that she felt as though she allowed basically some good ones to get away? How do you feel about what she is saying?
She might have just been speaking her truth because at least she identified it now versus not being able to identify it at a younger age. Because again, as she also pointed out that she was focused on maybe trying to get her career started, which a lot of people do. Marriage is something serious. So sometimes we want to put that up just because we might know the maturity level that we are at is not ready for marriage as well. So sometimes it takes us to understand on a maturity level where we at before we can try to take on a marriage. Because that's a big obligation. That's a big commitment that you're making for yourself as well. So, I mean, I kind of understand that. But also, on one hand, is do you want a relationship, or do you want a career? Do you want to go to school? So people are juggling a lot of different things while they're trying to figure out what they want to do. And if you're career oriented, you're going to pick the career.
So, would you say, with you being single, right? Would you say that you did the same thing? Why is it that you are still single? Is it that you are coming across challenges in America with Black women or women in general? Like, just give us an idea of what the landscape is like for you.
I could I could probably say it's a lot of different reasons why. The biggest reason is because sometimes as you keep growing and maturing, sometimes you just get set in certain ways, and some things just become the normal for you. So for me, it was just the normal to go to work, maybe go to the gym, go home, relax, eat, and that was my thing. Um, Not saying that I was never really looking for a relationship or that I wasn't. It's just I got used to my routine. And also, at one point I was trying to get focused with school. I finally got focused enough to get, my schooling done and get a master's degree and then get, further from there. So that had a little bit to do with it as well. And also, um, working in the school at such an early age, uh, I guess I wanted to make sure I wasn't part of the African American male statistic of having kids and being not married.
A bunch of baby mamas and
Kind
baby
of
mamas.
in my head, I didn't want to become a father until I became married, so I never got the relationship to have a kid. So, here it is.
And so, to those that don't know, LeMon is actually assistant principal at is it a middle school now?
High school.
Still, a high school. So when he's talking about his masters and stuff, it's towards a career as a school. In fact, I think you're still at the school.
I am. That's why I keep peeking back. I'm trying to catch the cleaning guy before he come in and open the door.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, Lees, tell me, what did you think about what she was saying as a Black woman who is single? And what are some of the challenges that you faced if you don't fall in the category of waiting, for your career and all that other stuff, but really wanting to be in a relationship? What are some of the challenges you faced with some of the dating life?
Well, I think a lot of what she said was, spot on. But then you add, for me, I have a child. So, being a single mother with a child, especially a boy, you're going to move different. I moved different. I protected my space. And so that also contributed to the fact of me not putting my dating or finding a relationship as a priority. my child was my priority. That was my focus, my everyday. And it, I think, catapulted into here we are. Like LeMon said, you know what I mean? It's a different type of norm for me that has caused me to date, yes, and find myself in situations where the men were not truthful with what their actual circumstances were, right? So then you're in a relationship and he's saying this, but this is not what it is. Then you have other relationships where they just want something physical. Well, I'm over 40. I don't want anything physical. I don't have time for that. So it's what I'm looking for, and I don't want to have to settle. I don't want to have to bend. So because I don't, and because I'm not trying to just appease and just be in a relationship because I'm here.
What are some of the what are some of the examples that you've faced? Because Claudia mentions earlier on in the podcast, because I obviously couldn't take the whole thing for obvious reasons, but she did mention that she finds a lot of Black men today are like sitting at home on the couch watching TV or playing video games, while the Black woman is the one out there working and paying the bills, and the Black man is driving the woman's vehicle. So have you experienced any of these situations in your dating life?
And it's such a contradiction because what they're wanting is this, independent, strong Black woman that can hold her own, but then she's too hard. She's not emotional enough, but she's not doing all the blue jobs. She's not taking out the garbage and mowing the lawn and doing the stuff that he should be doing. They want, I feel in this time that I've experienced dating, a man wants a woman to be not even at his level, to not even to say, and when I say not at his level, I mean he wants her to be as hard as he is. That's like, there's no what happened to being feminine, it's an issue. So for me, that is what I've come up against. I've come up against men who want me to be as hard as them, and when they get the hard, they can't handle it. So make up your mind, right? Like, and then we go to, oh, it's a Black woman. You Black females, you guys are too hard, you guys have too much attitude, but my action is only a reaction. That's all I can do, right? So I think there's a lot of different facets, and Black women are tagged as being so hard, uncommunicative, unsensitive, and we're not. We're everything and more. And it's because I feel how Black men interpret us, they can't handle it. They can't handle a Black woman, so they venture elsewhere.
I see LeMon smiling his head off. Okay, LeMon, you weigh in on this.
I only smiling because in certain little tidbits I can agree with Leis, but also I'm sitting here thinking, through experiences, is that a lot of times what happens is, for one, I'm only going to speak to Mike, but for one, sometimes the men just get, when we're single and we're not dating, a lot of times men get tired of fighting a double-edged sword.
What's the double-edged sword?
Because on one regard, I could say you women will see single, never married, no kids, own a house, got a good job. Oh, he must be a player. So I got to come in fighting that stigma that you're thinking I'm a player just because who I am. But if a woman has all those things, what do they normally say? Oh, she just hasn't found the right one yet. What if she's the player?
There is another thing they say, though.
Something's wrong with her.
That's exactly. There's another thing they say. Yeah, something's got to be wrong.
Sometimes, but for the most part, women will get the excuse of she hasn't found the right one yet, or she's tired of being mistreated. So, and I think to speak to you saying that a man come up with false pretense of maybe not being truthful, I think sometimes that kind of also plays into part of what a female wants, because a female don't want the physical, but then when you have a man that's not going for the physical, there's something wrong with him. So yeah, I'm physically attracted to you, but I'm not trying to sleep with you at this moment. So then where's the pushback? He's not attracted to me. No, I want to make sure that we both enter in this understanding what we're getting ready to do. Because I think a lot of times what a female thinks she's ready for, sometimes she's not. Because unfortunately, and this could, again, I'm speaking through my own experiences, entering into a physical relationship with someone doesn't always mean you're going to like that person more.
That is
For
true.
a man, just mean that we're just being physical. I don't necessarily mean I like you more. It's just and so then you go from that to we've been physical, so why aren't we dating? Why aren't we a couple? Well, because I mean, what are we gonna do any different than we've been doing?
Well,
So I
there's
think
that, and then there's also some men are very forthcoming, and they'll say, "I just want to have fun," or "I'm not looking for anything serious."
exactly. So hear him when he say that. Don't don't let don't let your
100%.
physical needs make you not hear him when he's saying what he's saying to you. Because if he's being upfront with you and being clear with you about what his intent is, don't think it's going to change just because you became physical, because it's not.
But I think it really does. Sorry, if I can just add to that, I feel like it really depends on what your end result is. What's your end goal? Are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking for marriage? Or are you just looking to date, play the field, be, um,
And you might not be looking to play the field, you might just be looking to date. And I think again, for a female, if she's looking for more of a relationship and ending in marriage, say that. So that way he'll know, and then he can say, you know what, not thinking I'm going to be married anytime soon. So maybe we shouldn't go to that point. Maybe we can hang out, do we need to have it? But instead of doing that, then we go our separate ways.
100%.
I think a lot of times there are some females that think because a man is maybe more than physically into them, it might even be attracted to them mentally and emotionally. Doesn't mean he wants to marry you.
Facts.
I enjoy everything about you, but I've also enjoyed the fact that I'm still at the end of the day, or at the end of the night, or at the end of the weekend, I go home and you go home.
You say it with such happiness.
I
You know?
do.
Well,
I do. I'm just being honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy, every man enjoys female company. Let's be honest with that part. And it don't always have to be physical. It can just be the fact that this is someone that you're really into. You like her vibe, you like her conversation. I like that she gets me in a way where I don't have to worry. She don't disturb my peace.
Hmm.
oh, that is one thing
Because a lot
men
of men, if
always
you
say is that
exactly
they
if
want to
you
go home.
if you interrupt my peace, that ends everything.
Yeah.
Because now I'm on
Okay,
edge. I'm on edge when I'm around you.
but give me an example of a woman that's interrupting your peace. What does
Just,
that look like?
well, just like I just stated earlier, for a female to not understand what I'm saying when I say it to her. A lot of times, my friends and I joke all the time, and I'll always say a lot of times when I meet a female, that I'm not looking for anything serious, but I also can be honest with you and say, hey, you're probably meeting the most singlest man you're gonna ever meet in your life. The one thing I know how to do is be single. So be honest with me and upfront with me as to what your intentions are, because I can tell you mine. And if things happen to change on the process, I'll tell you that also. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine.
So when you see a woman that like Claudia, beautiful, smart, accomplished, she's in her 40s, seems to have everything going for her, and you hear her saying this, what comes to your mind as a single black man also in America?
Because she just wanted to be in a relationship. She don't want me. She want whatever man is willing to be ready to be with her. So
Well, one of the things she
there's a
said,
difference, because you got to look at the fact when you can hear a woman saying she's tired of being single. I'm tired of doing everything. I'm tired of being at the forefront. So in other words, are you looking for a good man, or are you looking for somebody to take your tired away?
Or maybe you're looking for a partnership to help with the tire.
I get that, but looking for your partnership, is that meaning me? Because for the average man, he wants to feel special, like she wanted me, not the dude that said hi, the dude that took her out, the dude that took her to the. She was waiting for me. But if you're putting out there that I'm so tired and I'm this and that and I'm ready, there comes the difference of opinion, where now she just want a man. And a lot of times you see black women get the wrong man because that man, what you just said earlier, now he's come with the lies, he's come with the misconceptions he did up because he can get in there because she's so tired.
So are you basically saying that women will
They'll
lower
settle.
their standards sometimes to
They'll settle because it's been so long since a man has done something nice for them that this man can portray himself as a good man. Because you can't sit back and say women's intuition, and I can tell when a man is not good, but then you also have had 3 or 4 bad relationships. So where was your intuition at?
But I think that's another thing also to add in the dating scene with black men. What does the dating scene even look like? They don't want to even, it's courting and chivalry is not even a thing anymore. No one's trying to take anyone on a date. No one's trying to open up their wallet. Because again, a man is like, the expectations are flush. It's different. It's not how it used to be years ago.
And say that last little part one more time for me. No one's trying to open up their wallet. Can you elaborate on that?
No, I mean, because for me, when it comes to courtship, you as a man, I feel they're hunters. If you are interested in me, then it's for you to come and ask me out on a date. Because I'm not approaching a man. I'm not asking a man out. I'm not doing it, period. So let me finish. So if he's interested, then ask me out. And if you're going to take me out, then take me out and pay for my dinner. Because then don't ask me out.
Okay, so that's
what I mean about opening up your wallet. I'm not talking about taking me to Louis Vuitton, buying me like some shoes, taking me shopping, and all this other foolishness these new age ones talk about. I'm talking about courtship and actually showing that you're here and you're interested and you want to do this. Like,
I love it. I love exactly what you're saying, but I will ask you this one question. If that is the case, aren't we dating? I'm not just dating you, you're dating me too. So which means 100%. I'll drive, you're gonna drive. I'm gonna pay, you're gonna pay. So how do a woman show a man that she's interested if all he's doing is hunting?
Well, I think
I'll take a free meal from anybody, even if I'm not interested in it, if she's gonna give me a free meal.
Whoa. Okay.
So women will take a free meal and not be interested at all because this man taking me out and I'm hungry.
No.
There are women that are like that. That is true. They do exist.
Well, love that free meal. And you've probably been places where you've seen a woman and looked at it like there's no way in the world she like him. He got a lot of money because there's no way in the world she like him.
I have seen it. Yes. But I do want to ask you though, LeMon, because I asked Leis this question. What are your experiences? Have you ever, for example, experienced a situation where you met a woman and you felt like this is the one? And if so, what changed down the line that, you're still here, you're still single?
That's a good question because I'm trying to be honest, but I think I'm almost certain that it's happened to me. But I think in my own circumstances, I can be too quick at times. And my fuse is short. So if you do something that I don't like or that I feel might be a red flag, I pay attention to it and I'm done.
Do you think it's because you've been, like you said, so set in your ways, so it's kind of difficult to, put up with anything that you feel like is like
it has a lot. It has a lot to do with that, but it also just some of the fact of, why do you have to deal with something that's going to make you uncomfortable? Well, again, that's going to disturb your peace.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a great woman. I love you to death, but I can't do this. I'm not driving home like, ugh.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to be in a situation where I want to be in a situation where I am I'm uncomfortable and I'm sticking around just because I'm trying to make this person, feel comfortable, and I will say this at some point, that's where you can say a lot of men are cowards because that's when they go to cheat versus just going home and saying, look, I can't do this no more. So what we need to do to I get mine, you get yours, and we go our own way versus me going and doing this.
That is true.
Very true.
That is true. They'll feel like by doing that, that might be the best way to get out, because she'll probably end the relationship instead of what I wanted to do. Or they just go and do it and just continue to do it instead of closing off what's already closed in his mind and in his heart. Meanwhile, she's thinking a totally different thing. They're both like on totally different wavelengths,
Mhm.
right? Like she, in her mind, she's thinking, well, we just have some issues, but I want to work it out. I'm in here. I'm in it to win it. And then he's thinking, oh man, I just gonna go get myself some and feel loved and feel appreciated or whatever it is he feels like he's not getting at home.
And for the most, I'll keep that word out there. For the most part, it's just the peace.
Yeah.
If a woman can sit back and say a man is on the couch watching TV, playing a game, whatever he's doing, if that's what he's doing, he's bringing peace to himself, why interrupt that? If he's doing his part as a man, if he's paying the bills and doing the 30 things, and making sure you feel comfortable, let him sit on the couch and play the game.
100%. But
No, I think a lot of times in a relationship, some of my friends have, and some of the things that I've done during dating, I think women also forget. Date us sometime. Send me some flowers. I like candy. Buy me some candy. When you're out shopping, look at that shirt will look nice on him. Buy me a shirt. Don't forget you have to date the man sometime too.
Well, okay, so this begs the question. Do you find that in your single life that there are women that can look like Claudia, like I said, seems to have everything going for her. And she's not like, I'm gonna buy you flowers. Are you finding that you're going through that a lot?
She probably don't know how to date a man.
Do you think that is why? Like, I mean, she's given reasons. She said, she obviously focused on career. She feels like women are the backbone. We're not, taking enough time for ourselves. We're like taking care of everybody else. And we as Black women are natural nurturers. We care, we're mothers. We bring forth, all of that stuff. So do you think that what she's saying is, plays into it? Because one of the things that I've noticed is that since this video came out, and like I said, it's a lot longer than this, and she said some other things that I'm probably going to touch on as well, that I find more Black men are talking about it than women. Mm-hmm. So that's why I wanted to have a woman on here as well that's single to talk about it as well as a man and get that good balance. But
can I just say something also, Em?
Sure.
To what you're asking, LeMon. There's also communication that I feel when it comes to Black men, they don't over communicate. They're not going to, like you said, they're just going to result in cheating. They're not going to come and actually talk to their woman and let her know what it is that's the issue or what it is that is bothering them, or give the relationship or the situation a chance, or whatever the case may be. Like you said, you have a short fuse, right? So if something happens and you're left eyeing her, it's a wrap. But I think for me as a Black woman, I'm very patient. So in relationships, seeing and dealing with certain things that I consciously know it's a red flag, but I'm allowing the time to see, okay, this is new. Maybe, just maybe, I'm just, I could be just talking myself into it, but I'm giving Mans a minute for him to blow himself up, which he usually always does. But I think that that's a problem too. The communication is not as fluent as with others, I wanted to say that. Sorry.
Well, I feel like Moon, excuse me, I'm calling him Moon because that's what we call him. That's his nickname. So forgive me, I'm falling into habits. This is my buddy of, 20 years? So close to, yeah. So anyhow, I'm just saying that I feel like you kind of touch on it when you excuse me, when you said that you're talking about peace, first of all, but then also you mentioned cowards. You said that there are some men that are cowards and they're not willing to have that conversation and talk about whatever it is that they're feeling that maybe the woman's not doing or said or whatever. And that is one thing that women, I know it's on the top of my list. And that was one of the things that I struggled with when I was in singledom is like I could never um, find a man, or at least he finds me, whatever the case is, where we can have conversations about whatever it is that's going on with you. And then oftentimes what happens is instead of telling me what's going on, because men always say, we're not mind readers of you women. So the same goes for us women. We are not mind readers. So if something is bothering you, or you don't feel happy about something I'm doing, I'm not doing, I'm not putting, whatever the case is, then you go out and do that. And I feel like that part falls under the communication slash coward.
Yeah.
And that's also on the individual as well, though. No, because a lot of times you have some men that feel like, why don't you know? Just like a woman feel like, why don't you know? You know me. We've been together this long. You don't know that I didn't like this, or you didn't know that I didn't like that. And you can sit and say, I can say it, but also I'm communicating something to somebody who say they know me.
But you don't know each other in the beginning. So there's going to be
Right,
growing pains.
right. So it's growing pains. So what I'm saying is perfect point, growing pains. So if you're getting to know somebody, you should pay attention to everything that they're doing. So you can almost know when a person should be a good match for you when they're not. During the dating process. You can't sit back and say, I'm going to give this bro, that might not have been this, or this should have been that, or maybe that was just a one-time deal or something. Because a person will show you who they are if you just pay attention to what they do.
I mean, they can't conceal it forever. You can put on a good show, but it won't last. I agree with that.
Yeah.
What do you think though about, and this is for either of you want to talk about, one of the things that Claudia mentioned in this podcast is that she feels like at this point, somebody who was a married man is the best bet at this point for her. Or for a lot of single women that are over 40, because you get these younger men that are interested in older women, but the older woman is like, well, look, I'm 40, you're 25, or, listen, you are still growing. There's still so much that you have not even come to yourself yet. And there's probably, as time goes by, you're going to want different things. Meanwhile, I'm going to be like 50. So let us not play with each other. Let's not waste each other's time. Right. But she's saying it's probably better to be with somebody who was married. So somebody like that would mean somebody like you, Lem, who is over 50 and single. You might fall under the stereotype where they'll be like, what is going on? This man is handsome. He's intelligent. He's over 50. He's got his home. He's got his career, and he's single. What's going on? And could that be one that falls under the category of I may have let a good one get away because I felt like maybe one that was married might be better because they have experience, I guess? What do you think about that?
Again, that'd probably be on the individual. I mean, I could see it being that way, but if you look at it from her standpoint, saying let one get away, I'm quite sure she probably let a few get away because at that time they probably didn't have the total package that she was looking for. So I think from a man's point of view, a lot of times we have to be ready. Women want the total package. They want you to have a career. They want you to have the house. They want you to have everything that they want, or they want to be able to see that in you sometimes. And for the most part, a man might not have gotten to that point yet. We're still building ourselves, and sometimes we build ourselves even in our older ages. Because I can say that, I'll speak for myself. The one thing that a man, and I'll speak from my own experience, the one thing we know how to fight more than anything is maturity.
Yeah.
We'll fight that till we're in our 60s.
Facts.
So a lot of times we got to be ready. And sometimes I think, if we're not ready, you get passed over. And then by the time you're ready, and, it could be the point where by the time you're ready, now you're like, okay, now I got my thing. And it all depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
What do you say to that, Leis?
I think that, okay, wait, ask the question again.
So I was just saying that, Claudia was saying that she feels as though at this point in her life, her best bet is somebody that's already been married. That, obviously not married, but, married and divorced, has gone through some things, has experienced some things. And so I was just saying somebody that like LeMon, who's not been married and is single and has, everything going for him, would you feel like somebody that's been married is better, or somebody like LeMon, who, at the end of the day, he doesn't have any baggage. He's not dealing with any emotional wreckage from being married and having kids, and God forbid if it's a brutal divorce, and all that other stuff, you come out of it a little broken, right? So I'm just wondering, where would you be leaning towards if you were faced with those two scenarios?
Well, I too have never been married, so that's not um, something that I've experienced. However, I do have a child, so that is my baggage, and with me comes him. Even though he's 27 years old, he's grown, he's still mine. So, if for me, I don't think the man has to be necessarily married, but mature, been through some things, you know, maybe has adult children if he has children. I more lean to a man who, you know, has older children, because then the responsibilities that comes with. It's not just you're still a parent at the end of the day. So um I wouldn't say that I agree with Claudia on that aspect. I think for me it's more of the maturity factor, and he's lived life, and he's been through some things.
So, next question is, she also said that she feels like Black women in general never have to take our, like, we can't take our foot off the gas. We're always taking care of everybody. And you being a single mother, you have the added responsibility of making sure you're careful about who you let into your life, even though, like you said, your son is grown and he's very protective. I happen to know he's like my son as well. Shout out to I call him my boogie. Yes. So anyhow, my boogie, yeah, because he's always on. So I call him Boogie. Anyhow, so uh you have that responsibility as well to consider, but he is grown.
Yeah.
So now it's just more along what is your ideal, and then I'm going to ask LeMon the same question, because when I listen to the things that she's saying, even for me, when I think about when I was single, I probably also did let some good ones get away as well, because I was too busy partying and having fun, and I couldn't even imagine being married. Are you kidding? I was only concerned about my outfit for the next 4 days of clubbing, when I
No.
was, as it says in the scripture, uh I too was sometimes foolish. So, um so I'm just wondering, like, in that regard, what would be your ideal if you had to think about, this would be the person that would be the right fit for me at this point in my life, and this is what I will not accept. What would
Well,
that be?
I would not accept being um a question mark or an uncertainty, for sure. That's not something that I would be interested in. I want I would be interested in a conversation of knowing where we both stand. Like, what is it that you want? What are you about? And transparency, right? For me, it's important. It's important that there is some type of connection, there is some type of relationship or something with my son. Like, I should be able to let that go because he's an adult, but I can't. I can't. I feel like that is something that has to it has to manifest into me being able to love this man how I know I want to, and how I feel like I deserve the that type of relationship, the type of the relationship that I deserve. I feel like they have to be engaged with my son. And that's a big factor for me, Emma. And Darian's a big factor for me. Like, he's a big factor for me. So, yeah.
What about you, LeMon?
That's always
It's a loaded question.
a loaded question for me to answer. And again, it's because not that I'm not looking for a relationship, that I'm not willing to be in one. It's that, I will say this, it will probably take a very patient female, you know, if she's looking to be in a relationship with me, because of the simple fact that there are a lot of things that I have to learn about dating. I know how to date a woman, but I need to learn how to continuously, date a woman,
Right.
and not fall back into old habits, and not, remembering that you're seeing somebody. So, hey, you can call somebody today, or, see how somebody's doing, that type of thing, versus, doing your own routine, home, gym, home, relax, that type of thing. So, being able to allow somebody to be in my inner circle. So those are things that I would explain to a female, that she would have to make sure that, give me a little time to get there, because I wouldn't be there from the first date. That would take a lot of time for me, just for the simple fact that I have been single so long. So it's, I look around my house, and every closet is full of clothes that are mine.
We know
So,
this.
so, so it's like, that's just one of the jokes. It's like, you gotta
You
make
got to
space.
be able to share your space. You
Gotta
got
be
to
able to
be
make
able to,
space.
it
Gotta be
is,
able I gotta be able
it is an adjustment for
gotta be
sure.
able to
Trust
scoot
me.
over. So that'd be the biggest thing for me, is being upfront and honest, and making sure that mentally, physical probably, but being sure that mentally I am ready, to take on, the obligation, the commitment, and what it takes to not only be in a relationship, but to continue a positive, good relationship with a female.
So, in looking at Claudia and hearing what she had to say, is that somebody that you would be like, I'd love to talk, I would date her?
I don't know, because I hear what she's saying, and it's almost like, again, she, and I could be wrong, but it's just my own experience. I don't like when it comes off as that a woman is just looking to be in a relationship.
Is
She
that what you
wants.
feel like she's doing? Like
That's what
based
it
on what
looked like. That's what it almost sounded like she said. She's tired of being single.
Well,
So
I do think, she's been in long-term relationships. She's been
right,
married. She's been through all of those things. And yeah, I mean, you do get tired at a certain point. It's like, we know, if anybody believes in scriptures, this is what we women were made for the man. That's it just is what it is. We were made for the man. So it's inherently in us that, we want, and many women want the fairy tale. They want the wedding. They want the husband. They want that. They want children. They want that whole thing. So it, it does get tiresome if you are single for a long time, and you go through holiday after holiday, and you're by yourself, and oftentimes you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're down on yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, gotta be alone. And then, like Leis, who's a single mother, your son has gone off and living his best life, and now you're an empty nester, and you're like, come on, what's up? I got, and it's like, unless you want to be on dating apps, which I, for the love of God, can't do, wouldn't be able to do,
Hiring.
Uh, I need the organic, like, let me see your face.
Hmm.
I don't want you to tell me you're 6 foot tall, and then I get there and you're like 5'7", and because and I'm using that as an excuse because I love tall men. I'm a tall. That's just one of those, I guess you would say, frivolous things. But
right.
I just need that. That's an aesthetic that I'm not willing to compromise. But anyhow, enough about me. I'm just saying, so you don't feel like Claudia is somebody that you would be like,
I would probably have to actually meet and have a conversation with her, because
Can I ask?
again, you can see exactly where a woman's head is through the conversation that you have in a personal conversation with her. So that would probably be the biggest thing. But hearing what she's saying is like, um, again, I don't know if this is probably too brash, but I want a woman that's ready for me, not just ready to be in a relationship.
Can I ask a question, LeMon? When you say that you don't like, or it bothers you when you hear her say that she's tired, or knowing that a woman's tired, it's kind of like almost a trigger word. Like, why is that? I'm just curious to know
I,
why. it seems like that word.
It is a trigger word for me because what are you tired of? Enjoying yourself?
Well,
No.
it's you can enjoy yourself, but you want to enjoy
But
yourself with somebody else.
I
Yeah,
get that,
You
but
know,
you
it's like,
exactly.
yeah, I am tired. I'm tired of single girls trips. I'm tired of girls' night out. I'm tired
so
of
Not,
so
no, that's not what I'm tired of. I'm okay with all of what you just said, Emmy.
no,
But
okay.
how about I'm tired of going home? I'm tired of going home to an empty bed. How about
but
I'm tired of not being able to have that, support system or different type
yeah,
of
but you
support
you
system.
have to realize though, if you're doing all of those things and you want what you just said, you got to stop doing those things. So you eventually get tired of those things, right? And there are a lot of women that are still doing all of that, and maybe they're doing it in hopes to meet somebody because the likelihood of meeting somebody on your couch is slim to nil unless, like I said, you're on these dating apps. So you got to get out. But I
Well,
would
yeah,
be
but
interested.
that's the part that I'm saying that I'm
Yeah,
tired about. You know what
yeah.
I mean? That it gets lonely, right? And I maybe want to take my dog walking with somebody. I don't want to go on my ones today. I want, maybe, babe, could you go do it? Like maybe I want that for a day. It's just the small things, I think.
LeMon?
I'm hearing it, and that exactly is my point. So that man is there to fill a void of your emptiness. I don't know. I'm hearing what because you gave an example of maybe I'm tired of going home to an empty bed,
But that was just like a that was
and
just like a
and when you said or maybe I just don't want to walk my dog by myself. I guess I'm one of if I'm loving myself and I know how to be by myself, even once I become in a relationship,
Mhm.
that's just gonna be that much more I have to share with her because I don't need her to be my everything. I don't need her to fill the void of me having an empty bed because I'm okay with that. I don't need her, I can walk my dog by myself, but if you come, that's fine too. I can be
Well,
all
you're
that.
basic.
I could be all that for you, but I don't want her to absolutely just say she need that.
But that's the reality, right? That's the reality of what I'm I'm living that reality. So a man entering into my world, into my space is that's exactly what it is. You're coming to I guess not just fill a void, but you're coming to contribute to my world. It's about a partnership. It's not about just one person or the other. It's about a partnership, right? So
I think if I'm right, and you can keep me honest, Lemon, I think what he Lemon is saying is, I guess you have to be whole yourself, and you got
mhm.
to be whole and love yourself and love your company before you can be with somebody else, and don't rely on them for your happiness or to feel that,
Because that's what it turns out, and then it gets to the point where he's not doing something to keep her happy. So
Yeah,
be
yeah.
happy within
well,
yourself
you
first.
do. I think we do have to be.
If you're happy within yourself first, now I got that much joy to just get at her. She's
A
not
hundred
responsible
percent.
for me being happy.
Yeah,
I'm
well, you don't
responsible.
want a dependency, right? Like I'm not want you don't want it to be that you're dependent on that person to bring you laughter and happiness and smiles. It's supposed to just, you know, attribute to your life.
Well, I'll say this about me. I know when I was single, I was intentionally single for like 7, 8 years, and I was loving my life, my space, my company, my I was traveling. Lamont can tell you I was coming to Cleveland, like Cleveland was my second home, and his backyard was my favorite place to be. So I get what you're saying, Lamont, and I get what you're saying, Lees. I think it's really about making sure that you yourself are happy and whole within yourself before you can be with somebody else, and you cannot expect or rely on that person to make you happy or be there to feel all of those things you want to do, because then if you come into the relationship you have all these expectations off the rip, And it's like, oh my gosh. So you're not gonna walk the dog? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's where LeMon is going with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you're basically saying, LeMon, that you feel like Claudia is more looking for that as
Right.
opposed to
And she might want the real relationship, but also, understand that, in a relationship, there's still going to be things that you're going to do that you've done before.
yeah.
So it's almost
And
like,
don't expect it to change because
right, just because
it's
I'm here.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Well, you know what, you guys, we got 10 minutes left and the chat is alive. So I'm just gonna read some of what our people here are saying. Hey Queen, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Hey Buckhorse, thanks for joining. Many women think that they have all the time in the world when they don't. Black women are universally beautiful by the living God. I swear it. That's Buckhorse. A good guy is created from a good mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
What we have been watching today is it's obvious we are not going to see a high percentage of good guys if one looking at how the females function. I'm not really sure where we're going with that. Do you have a response to that one, LeMon?
I'm not sure what I kind of lost me on that one. I'm not sure
So
what
he's saying it's obvious we are not going to see a high percentage of good guys if one is looking at how the females function.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying, Hayward. So one person said Claudia still thinks that she's still young and she's not. Well, listen, there are a lot, like I said, there's a lot of there's millions of black women over 40, over 50 that are single. And it's not about how old they think they are or young they think they are. That's not what it is, I don't think. And so Zoran says Claudia was on the spot with her analysis of self. Yeah. And that's her feelings, that's her thoughts. I just found it interesting that a lot of black men were like covering it and then saying, well, you thought you had all the time in the world. And it's like, wow, can some women speak up too? Can we bring a woman's perspective here? Black women are an art directly from God. It's undeniable. Claudia said she let one good one get away. I know Claudia, and she knows tons of men, and her option was one good man, not many choices. Okay. Many of them will waste their time chasing toxic partners. Well, listen, I think we can all, I mean, I know me for sure. I've had those moments where I was like, what was I thinking? Like what?
Right.
Like what? Like why
Why?
didn't I see this? I don't think there's any woman who is over 40 or over 50 that doesn't have at least two stories, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Many men need to stop putting women on pedestals. Do you think that men do that, LeMon?
I don't know if they put them on. Well, some do. I think some do, and I think sometimes that's kind of how some men are raised. But also, I think if you're going to put her on the pedestal, make sure she earns it. There's nothing wrong with it if she earns it. If
Yeah.
she's doing the things she needs to do for you, and she's doing what you need her to do, you can put her on a pedestal. But as long as she earns it, and then you're feeling that she's doing that, hey, pedestal her up.
That's fair. Buckhorse says, Mr. Bradford, we appreciate you too, bro. Greetings to all. Comparing men and women by biology is asinine. Men can create a baby until his dying breath. Not so much with women. Stop listening to feminists. Even yesterday's feminists make videos saying they messed up. I disagree, Dariush. Nobody here is trying to be feminist here. We're just listen. This is just women, a woman. I'm just using Claudia again because that was the asset. Just reflecting on if she had to turn back time and look at how she let career be her primary, I guess, boyfriend, and then now she's this much older and never feeling like she could take her foot off the gas, always feeling like I got to make sure my career's right, my money's right, and all of those things. To me, that doesn't make her a feminist. That makes her a responsible, independent Black woman. that, you don't have a relationship, you're not in a relationship, maybe the times where she's single. She's saying, you know what, let me just make sure I'm good for myself. That's what it is. And there's, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Is there, LeMon? I'm
Not at
asking a
all.
man's opinion now.
Not at all. I'd be crazy to say that. That'd be talking about myself.
So Janami says, after being in a toxic relationship for 16 years, I'm glad to be by myself. I'm not in no rush. I only been 40 for a month. Well, there you go. Let's see. Buckhorse is laughing and saying Mr. Bradford with a bunch of laughing emojis. So Steven says, I think that's a crock of crap, what that Claudia said. So Steven doesn't agree with anything that she said. And LeMon is questioning, what I guess how genuine she is about, does she really want a man or she wants a void filled? Like, what is it, right? Thank you. Somebody just said nobody on the panel has feminist views. Great conversation. Thank you so much. Buckhorse says the conversation is beautiful. Thank you, Buckhorse. I feel like, as you say, I'm tired of being alone. You now need an object that will satisfy your needs, in which case this object should be a man. So I feel like Najubulo is kind of feeling like you're feeling, LeMon. It's kind of in line with what you're saying. And then Isaac says women like Claudia Jordan and Vivica Fox have hit the wall. So productive, law-abiding, working-class men ignore them. I'm just going to play a reel, and I should have added Vivica Fox now that I think about it. But
Yes.
because we're talking about Claudia Jordan and she's a celebrity, just in closing, let us just look at this reel of celebrity Black women who are, I think, are all single. We've got Taraji P. Henson. I know she's over 50. Janet Jackson. Who else do we got here? Nia Long. We've got Tracy Ellis Ross. We've got Octavia Spencer. We got Garcelle Beauvais. Regina King. Regina Hall. Sanaa Lathan. And these, like, beautiful women. Beautiful. And I put Janet Jackson in there twice. I was like, I'm going back to Janet Jackson too, And I know so many men who say to me, oh my gosh, if Janet Jackson's single and I had a chance, I would be with her. I would get with her. I would get with Sanaa. And it's like, okay, well, here they are. So what is the problem? I don't even want to use the word problem. Leis, what do you have to say about all of these gorgeous single women? And then I'm going to go to you, LeMon, and then we will close off. We have 3 minutes left.
Well, I think that it is telling, the fact that there's so many beautiful, successful celebrity women are single. They're living their best life. And, I think that that's what, at this point, being older, being single, that's what you just got to do, is lean in and enjoy what's happening and be present. And, when God sees it's time, then it'll be time.
LeMon?
I guess the biggest thing I would say is understanding the why. It's a reason why. So our biggest thing is understanding the reason why, and beauty and, fame and financial and all of that. But there's a reason why.
Yeah. And the Inkwell says, well, I'm glad they didn't swirl. Brother, step up. Antoinette says, aye. And Neo Beta says, Tashina Arnold, they are all divestors. We are not interested. Wow. And Stacey Dash is pushing 60, Isaac says. So there are definitely more for sure. Tashina Arnold, Tashina Campbell, or Tisha Campbell. And these are people that were married. Like Tisha Campbell was married for forever. Anyhow, I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but I do appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your feelings and your thoughts about this. I really did think that this was a really good topic, but I wanted to hear from people that are actually in this position that can listen to what she's saying and relate somewhat to what she's saying, and also weigh in on, where you feel she might be in this situation because of X, Y, or Z. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on. Thank you so much. I love y'all. You know I do. And hopefully I'll be going to some weddings in 2026. LeMon's looking left to right.
Yours, Emmy? Yours, you mean, right? About
Yours.
No, I'm talking about you guys. But anyhow, thank you guys all for tuning in. As usual, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News channel app from your Google or Apple store. Exclusive content you won't see here or anywhere else. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We will be back again for sure, covering some other very interesting topics. Until then, I really appreciate you joining. We shall see you again. Until then, please be safe, everyone. Peace.